Hey everybody, I'm Garcia, and today I'm taking a look at a small set collection card game called Life is Life. In this card game from the same company that has brought us the acclaimed The Game and The Mind, players are going to have a hand of 10 cards, and they're going to be trading cards with some sets on the table in order to score and amass what they consider to be a winning hand. Whenever they think they have that, they'll knock on the table. That will finish out the round, and then they compare with the other players' hands to see if they indeed did have the best hand at the table. Let me give you a look at how it all works together. We're going to cut to the table. I'll give you a look at that. Then we're going to come back up here, and I'll tell you what I think of this one. To set up the game, we are going to give each player 5 of these life cards. We are going to shuffle up the deck of cards, deal everyone 10 cards from that deck, and set up the display like this randomly with 4, 3, 2, and 1 cards in 4 different rows. You also have these 8 sheets, though they are in German, but this side can still be used. So everyone's going to have one of those, and then you are ready to play. You pick a start player, and that player is going to have one of 2 options, though in the first round, they only have the one option. That option is they can switch some cards from their hand with a row on the table. So for example, let's say I want this row here with the 7 in red and that 8. I can give up 2 cards from my hand, say this card and this card. I'll play those 2 out first, and I'll scoop these up and put them in my hand and put these in their place. Then it'll be the next player's turn. And this will go around the table with players picking a line and replacing the cards they are holding with that line. So for example, this player might play just this card and replace it with the 1 card up here. Always, of course, leaving behind as many cards as the number you are taking. Once everyone has done that at least once, then you still have that option, but you may also on your turn knock on the table, and then at that point you are signaling that you are finishing the round. You are done making switches, and every player around the table has one more opportunity to make a final switch. Then the round is over, and players are going to compare how many cards of each kind they have in their hand. So you'll go from the highest to the lowest, displaying how many you have. So for example, the 9, giraffe here, I would display 3. This player had a single 1. This player here had none. And this player here had 1 as well. So whoever has the most, if there is a clear majority, would keep those cards in front of them. This player now has 9 points towards winning this round. The other ones can be set aside. Then you'll do the 8s. Well, everybody compare the 8s and see who's got the most of those. So let's say this player over here who had 3 had the most of them. Well, they'll keep those in their hand, or on the table rather. And now they've got 8 points. You continue doing this with players scoring. If there's a tie, no one gets it, until you figure out which cards all the players have scored. So let's say it ends up with me having 14 points, 8, 7, and a total of 4 over here, okay? Once that's done, whoever has the most, the highest value, the highest total, is going to keep all of their life cards here. Whoever had the lowest score, if this player had a total of 4, let's say this is all they were able to score, then they are going to lose 2 of their life cards. Everyone else loses 1. So 1 from here, 1 from here, and then you shuffle all of this up again, and you set up the whole game again, giving everyone 10 cards, setting up the display on the table once again. As soon as a player has no life cards, then they are eliminated from the game. Let's say this player runs out of these. They are eliminated from the game, and you continue playing. You continue playing until you have a single player left with any of these life cards. That player is going to be the winner of the whole thing. The other way a round may end is with sudden death, as shown on this card. If anyone ever has all 4 of the cats, all 4 fours, all 5 of the, what are they? The rabbits, and then all 5 of the little piggies. If anyone has one of those things, then they immediately say, as soon as they get it, I've got one of the necessary sets to trigger sudden death, and everyone else simply loses one of their life cards. There is no final scoring. You shuffle up and go again. And that's everything there is to it. So you're going to play, figure out who the winner is at the end of the round, unless it's sudden death and you immediately know. You have to score otherwise. You go through all that process. You shuffle it up. You do it again. You again make switches with the table. And keep on going until you have a final standing player. They walk away with the win. So let's go back up top and let me tell you what I think of the game and how it feels in play. Alright, so that is the game. Let's take a look at it. We're going to start with thematic ties. Does it feel original? Is the theme well implemented? Well, I'll say this for that. I'm glad it has artwork, technically a theme, but it really doesn't have anything to do with what you're doing in the game. This obviously works exactly as it would with a deck of numbered cards. So not really something that is going to draw you to the game, I think, unless, again, you are swayed by the artwork. Speaking of artwork, the aesthetics of the game, card quality, and illustrations, those things are fantastic. The card quality for this company is always superb, and the illustrations are cartoony, they're attractive, they are well done. I know that for scoring purposes, the numbers, some of the numbers have to repeat. So there is a set, for example, of blue sevens and a set of, I think, pink or purple sevens. And that happens for a few different numbers. That's fine. The animals in the center of the cards, those are different, so the illustrations remind you that they are different sets. It's a little annoying when you're scoring, say, okay, the sevens now. Wait, not these sevens, not those sevens. We'll get to those in a second. But there's a lot of other things that are annoying about this game. I'll get to those in a minute. Aesthetics are good. Replayability, does the game scale well, or are there new things to discover from game to game? I think it scales. I don't like the way it scales because the game is an elimination style game, meaning you are going to keep playing until you have a single player standing. That's a problem that compounds when you play with more people. In this game, you are going to play. So, for example, if you have 4 people, you can play up to 5 rounds. You could play fewer rounds than that. So that's a problem with the scaling in the game for me. I don't think there are new things to discover either after one game, after half a game, really. You've seen everything there is to see in this game. And your main decision point is, do I think I'm going to win the set I'm taking here? Or the other decision is, do I try to shoot the moon? Try to get the 4 fours or the 5 fives. Because if I can do that, I don't have to score. I can just win outright. Of course, if the other players see you taking those, they're probably not going to make those cards available to you. Game length. Is it interesting the whole time? Does it get repetitive? As I said, with 4 players, you can play up to 5 rounds. That means 5 rounds of gathering up all the cards, shuffling them all because they are usually discarded in groupings. So making sure you break those up. Dealing 10 cards to everyone at the table, then setting up the display on the table, then going around and grabbing a bunch of cards from the center, leaving some behind, scoring sometimes very quickly. Sometimes people are happy with their hand one time around the table. And so you have to score all the sets, figure out who wins, shuffle it all. My point being, the ratio of manipulation of stuff in this game to what I would consider gameplay is not great. There's a lot of just sort of shoving stuff around and shuffling cards and grabbing new sets and discarding old sets. That's I find that balance to be off and it doesn't add much to the entertainment value in the game. Ease of play, is it fiddly? Are there extraneous rules? Is it easy to teach? I think the game is easy to teach, I'll give it that, but I definitely think it's fiddly, as I was just mentioning. Tons of shuffling, tons of just moving things around. And as far as the rules go, there's not a lot there going on. And I'm glad that the rules are in place for that shoot the moon idea. Though, again, if someone's holding one, let's say I'm holding one of the 4s, and I see you scoop one up from the table, it's a closed system, right? So there's no new cards flowing into the game. We're all holding all the cards that are going to be in this round. I'm not going to put that 4 out there because I would rather make sure that you not win outright than maybe come in second place. You know, I'll take second place as opposed to making the last 4 available and then you pick that up and we're done, you know. So I don't think it's a great way to shoot the moon when players can see that you're doing it and they won't make it available to you. So I'm not feeling the ease of play too much because of mainly all the shuffling on all the downtime, all the sort of, you know, little tiny decisions you're making in relation to everything else that's going on. Lastly, tactics and strategies. The game too lucky? Does it feel balanced? Are there interesting choices? I certainly would say it's pretty lucky, but that's not really even it. The main tactical decision here is, what do I not just pick up? That's obvious. What do I leave behind? That's kind of interesting, but I hate games that punish you, or let me put it this way. I hate games that reward you for avoiding playing. This is a problem I had with another card game that was very, very popular, Arboretum. In Arboretum, it was a very similar concept in which players would score what they had put in front of them, but only if they had certain cards in their hands as well. Well, if I see you building a scoring opportunity, guess what? The one in my hand stays in my hand, so I don't help you. However, it also hurts me, which isn't fun, you know. And this game has more of that as well. Ultimately, I find this game to be pretty run-of-the-mill. It's a fairly pedantic game. It does not have an interesting or engaging hook. It's a game of sort of pushing your luck. I like the idea of deciding when you are done, which is, you know, sort of based on classic card games. But it's just too slow. There's nothing particularly interesting in it to make it a worthwhile game. This company, as I said, has done some very interesting and acclaimed games. This is not really one of those. The artwork's great, but that's about all that this game has going for it. So I would say that you can safely pass on this one. Certainly look at their other offerings, but life is life. It's just not that interesting. I'm Z Garcia. Thanks for checking this out. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com.